What is up, and welcome back to the 48 Men Podcast. I am back for my this is actually my final. You're my final episode of season 4. So
the big finale.
This is the big finale, and you are also my second in-person guest from this. I think my second in-person guest from the season. So, well, either way, Martin was last week. You're this week. So I'm lucky to have 2 in-person guests to conclude the season. So, Jordan Summitt, welcome to the podcast.
Man, thanks for having me. I'm actually really honored. Like when you texted me that the other day, I was like, either he's hurting for somebody or he just wants to talk. And
no,
I was very, very honored.
I'm
very honored.
I'm not hurting. No, I was like, because I was thinking about just, because I love in-person guests, and just because they're more fun, and I think it's easier just to talk in person. And I saw Martin the other week, and I was like, I'm going to ask Martin. And then I was like, I'm going to ask Jordan because, obviously I see you every day, and we've just had so much life happen the past couple of years, got to know each other well just from hunting and everything. So yeah. I just thought it'd be a fun conversation because
absolutely
we have a lot in common. We also don't have a lot in common. So I'm excited. But you are, you're a husband, you're a father, you're the head videographer of Buck Commander.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
You could say head videographer.
Yeah, I mean, I technically.
Yeah, well, you've been there the longest.
Yeah, I have. I've been here a minute.
Well, I was going to start it off by saying, so legend has it that you actually used to babysit Sadie and John Luke. That's how long you've been here.
Yeah, that was actually one of my very first jobs when we came here. Willie and Corey, they had just kind of taken over the company, and as far as the website and doing all the management and stuff, the business side. And SHOT Show is something that happens every year in our industry. It's where all the hunting companies get together and we kind of go showcase our products for the coming year and whatnot. So it's a big event in Vegas. Really, really cool event. And that particular year, I did not get to go, but Willie was like, hey, I got a job for you. Me and Corey are going to Vegas for a few days and need you to watch the kids. Me and my wife, we were newlyweds, so we had little experience with children, but not much. And Willie and Corey are putting faith in us to watch their children. And I think it was Bella. Anyway, I think it was Bella. Bella got the flu while they were gone.
No way.
Well, then, we're taking care of them all week and feeding them and just doing all the stuff you do. And again, we're newlywed, young. I mean, we're like 21 years old. We know nothing about what we're doing. But anyway, I'm just like, well, we gotta take care of these kids, make sure they're alive when Willie gets back. And poor Bella got the flu, and well, guess who else gets the flu by the end of the week? She's laying on my lap, and like watching TV and stuff, trying to feel better. And I got the flu by the end of the week. And Willie and Corey come back from an awesome trip to Vegas.
Awesome trip to Vegas. Was that did that like prolong y'all from thinking about having kids, or did that affect that at all?
No, not at all. What was funny was that when we first got here, Willie and Corey, they had pretty young kids, and then Jep and Jessica, they had young kids. Jace had young kids, and it was funny because when we first got here, we were always like the just designated babysitters. Like, and that was fine. We were fine with that. And they always, they were always nice, hooked us up, gave us a gift card somewhere, took us out to eat. But we were always the ones that got asked like every time, whether it was Jace's kids, Jep's kids, Willie's kids. So, hey, can y'all babysit this weekend? And we got nothing else going on. We're 2 kids, just got married in Louisiana, so yeah, we'll watch them. And we did that for a while. And then it was funny. I started picking up on it. I was like, "Wait, what? Everybody always comes to us. Either they really like us, or no. It's more, but just because we were available."
Yeah.
And I remember Jep giving me a piece of advice. He said, "Hey, you will no longer get asked to babysit as soon as you have children." I was like, that's what it is. Which we enjoyed it. They all have great kids, and it was fun, but. That actually had nothing to do with our decision on having children.
So there was no incentive there to have kids sooner?
Not at all. Not at all. We were able to see what good parenting does, and how kids come out of that and everything. And so that was good for us. It gave us somebody to look up to, Willie and Corey and Jep, Jessica, Jace, Missy, all of them, just seeing how they parent their children and whatnot. That was really good for us to see.
Yeah.
And we did end up getting pregnant, but not by choice.
No, yeah.
As things happen, best accident ever, I'll just
Yeah.
say. My
That's
first
awesome.
child. So
That's awesome. What I didn't realize that you and Angela got married that young.
we did. We did. We were high school sweethearts. First and only girlfriend I ever had.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Met when I was 14. She was 15. And so we dated all through high school, partially through college. Broke up maybe for like 2 weeks. It was one of those that, and you've probably been there, me being, I've only had one girlfriend ever, so I can only speak from this, but it was one of those that was like, okay, either we need to break up and we're not going to get back together, or I'm going to marry this girl. And so we broke up, and it lasted maybe 2 weeks.
That's awesome.
And it was like, no, I got to stick with her. And then we got engaged that summer. So
do you feel like, okay, so you met when y'all were 14. How does that, what if Rhett,
and Rhett, speaking about my firstborn, he just turned 15.
So how would you feel if he thought he was going to marry this girl he just met? Is there like some relatability with some compassion, or is there like, no, you got to wait till you're older?
Well, we didn't get married till we were 20, 21. So, we dated for about 6 years or so. But
because I'm saying people that like, I feel like it's so rare that people that start dating when they're that young actually end up getting married together.
Totally now. And I would even say when I was that age, like that's still super rare. Like I can tell you all my buddies in high school and college, like maybe one or two of them actually ended up with the girl that they were dating in college.
Yeah.
But if my son was to come to me and said, "Hey, Dad, like this is the one," I'd probably be taken back a little bit, but you know what? I was there at one time, and especially right when we were getting ready to get engaged, like you couldn't tell me otherwise. Like she was the one. She was. I couldn't imagine doing anything without her.
Yeah.
And so I think it's one of those that, like, if you find a girl that wants you, or that makes you want to be a better version of you, that's the one. That's what I told my son. Actually, he's dating a little girl now. And it's awesome, seeing it, but it's I've been there, so I know all the butterflies and all those feelings that come, with young love. But I've told him, I said, hey man, stick with it. Y'all are gonna have problems, y'all are gonna have good times, bad times, but when you get there, when she makes you just want to be better than what you are, you got one worth sticking with.
That's awesome. So y'all moved. So how did that, because you're not from Louisiana, are you from Arkansas?
Arkansas.
Yeah.
Yep.
So how'd you get roped into moving here when you were 21 to come? like what's the origin of that?
Man, I don't know if you'd say roped in or somehow.
Not roped in, but how'd y'all, what was the connection point there?
Well, quite honestly, I've got a long story. I don't even know if you got enough podcasts for this, but growing up, I wasn't a hunter at all. Did not hunt. And for those of you listening, I'm a video production manager for Buck Commander, so I film hunts and a lot of other things here at Buck Commander and Duck Commander. And was not a hunter though. Actually, my mom wouldn't let me hunt. She was scared to death of something happening to us if we were to go out in the woods. So she didn't really let us hunt. My grandfather hunted a little bit, and he took me one time. He took my brothers a couple times, but just really no hunting in my family. Not that we were against it, just, again, my mom was scared to death something would happen to one of her boys. And later in high school, I was in agricultural class. I'll never forget it. And we were watching TV, and back then, Christian, we had these things called cassette tapes, video on VCRs. And so we would have this TV that they have on a little roller at the front. And then when we'd have slow days, our teacher would put a little movie on. Well, one day he put on this video, and it was this bearded guy, and he was shooting snakes, like just big old cottonmouths, and then killing ducks. And I was like, man, I was kind of intrigued. I was like, this guy is, man, there's some rawness to him. Like, that is cool. And then he kept talking about God in it and everything. I was like, And so I kept watching it. We'd come back the next day, and then the guy had a different tape and a different tape. And Then I finally caught on. I was like, what is this series that we're watching here? Like, I thought it was a educational thing.
Where was this at?
This was in high school.
This was in school?
In school.
That is awesome.
So, like, in ag class, when things got slow, which apparently it was just super slow that week because we watched a ton of videos. Anyway, back to the story. So, the videos I were watching were the Duck Commander series videos.
Yeah.
Again, I had no idea who these people were. I was just, like, very, very intrigued by the videos and just the grit and just the personality and the rawness of it all. And the ducks, and just a lot of it was just so different to me and how I've been brought up. I was just very intrigued by it. And a lot of the guys in class, you know, they hunted, and so they would kind of fill me in. Oh, that's the duck commander, Phil Robertson, you know. And so I ended up starting to duck hunt, just dabble in it a little bit, to the point where I got to thinking I was a duck hunter. Like, oh yeah, I'm a duck hunter. Like, yeah, I can blow a duck call. I'm buying every one of Phil Robertson's calls. I'm buying camouflage, the same camouflage he won. I'm getting the same kind of gun he used. Like,
you're all in.
I am Phil Robertson Jr., you know, thinking that I'm the stuff. And went into college with that same mentality, like, hey, I'm going to get into hunting. And then I kind of got into deer hunting a little bit, but it didn't really interest me because in Arkansas, at least during that time period, if I went deer hunting, it was always cold. I never saw anything, and you couldn't talk. And duck hunting wasn't that way. Duck hunting, it was cold, but we would see ducks and shoot, and you could talk, and like it was a lot of fun. So I really took to the duck side of things. And anyway, when I went to college, as I would imagine most people, I kind of bounced around on majors for a little bit, trying to figure out what I wanted to do in life. And I kind of had a creative personality, I like to think, and at the time I was a graphic design major, and all my buddies in college, you know, you do stupid stuff in college, and I went to a little college called Harding University in Searcy, and a little Christian school there, and I was always the guy with my buddies, like, instead of doing all the stupid things, I was the guy videoing it. And we didn't have phone cameras or any of the stuff that they've got now. No iPhones. This is all before all that. This is like the Motorola Razr days. I don't know if you ever even... Those are cool phones.
Those are really cool phones.
I wish they'd bring them back.
My dad had one. I was like, that's my dream phone. It was the Motorola. It was the Razr. Then do you remember the Juke?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I used to think those were the coolest things
They're
ever.
awesome.
Yeah, they were really cool.
Well, anyway, so I had a little point and shoot camera that I gotten for Christmas. So I was always the guy, instead of doing all the dumb things, I was the one videoing the dumb things. And then at the end of the year, I'd put together a little video, just kind of a collection of all the dumb things. That's and the excitement of things you would do in college. I'd put together a little video just for my buddies. And so I guess my sophomore year, I was like, man, this video thing's kind of fun. I like to edit and tinker around on the computer and stuff. I said, I want to get into video production somehow. And so I ended up switching majors to video production. And later on that year, I was still watching the duck videos back then. I would show all my buddies. I was still living that Phil Robertson Jr. life, you know.
If you're a longtime podcast listener, then you might know I've been drinking AG1 for about 2 years now. When I started drinking AG1 daily, I could feel a real difference in my daily health. I had more energy, and I also noticed I felt more relaxed, and I could also focus better. I love drinking AG1 in the mornings before I go to the gym. Even on days when I don't go to the gym, I still love drinking it in the mornings, and it's just been such a huge benefit for me. I love the taste of it. I think that it tastes delicious. It's super smooth. It's not super chalky or bitter, and it tastes delicious. And AG1 is a foundational nutrition supplement that supports your body's universal needs like gut optimization, stress management, and immune support. Since 2010, AG1 has led the future of foundational nutrition, continuously refining their formula to create a smarter, better way to elevate your baseline health. And not only did I replace my multivitamin with AG1, but I love that every scoop also includes prebiotics, probiotics, and digestive enzymes for gut support, and magnesium and B vitamins for energy support. I love the workout. Like I said, I have 2 kids, so getting up in the mornings can be very difficult. And that's one thing that I love about AG1 is that it gives me great energy support. It helps my immune health, and it also helps balance my body's stress levels because sometimes kids can be very stressful. I recommend AG1 to all my friends and my family. My wife, Sadie, loves taking it. I've gotten my neighbors on it. John David from the Duck Room loves it. I've got my parents on it, my brother and my sister-in-law. AG1 is the supplement I trust to provide the support my body needs daily, and that's why they've been a partner for so long. If you want to take ownership of your health, it starts with AG1. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3, K2, and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/Huff. That's drinkag1.com/Huff. Go check it out. What did Angela think of you hunting?
Oh, she loved it.
Like, did she grow up hunting?
No, she didn't. She didn't. Now Angela's more redneck than I am.
Yeah.
Like way more. Like her family is redneck as they come. She was all about it though.
Yeah.
And anyway, I'd take her hunting and stuff like that. Just while we were dating in college, we go on dates. We loved to fish together. That was one of the things that we did. I did do that a lot growing up, was fish, but we loved to fish. We go on dates just fishing. We just go fish for hours.
That's awesome.
And so that was always fun. But anyway, I ended up in my major. I was like, man, I really need to get like a job shadowing opportunity somewhere. And quite honestly, at the school I was at, they were kind of pushing everybody to do like journalism or broadcast in the news and whatnot. And that just really didn't interest me. I mean, you look at the news, it's just so depressing now. And I understand there's need to be people to do those jobs, but it wasn't what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And I was thinking, man, you know, what'd be cool is if I could actually video those guys that I love to watch, those duck commander guys. That would be just a dream come true. And so anyway, I sent in an email. This was like the beginning of, websites, email days, I guess. But I sent in an email to duckcommander.com and kind of gave a little brief background of who I was, what school I was going to, and said, man, I'd love a job shadowing opportunity. Big fans. Really didn't expect anything out of it. I really didn't. Like, I remember going home for the weekend and I got an email back from a guy named Willie Robertson. I was like, who is this? Now, this is before Duck Dynasty. This is before Willie was really even part of Duck Commander. At
so
the time,
he was kind of transitioning.
He was transitioning from his camp role as a camp director to Duck Commander business. So unbeknownst to me. Yeah. Okay. So just keep that in mind. So I get this email. I've never seen Willie on the videos. Like, I've always seen Phil and Jason Sy. Those were like the ones that and Red Dog, just some of those people, Mac. And so his name just didn't ring a bell, but I was like, Willie Robertson. So I opened the email. I was like, hey, this is Willie Robertson. I'm Phil's son. We know about Harding. I actually went to Harding, same school you're going to. If you want to come give it a shot, we'll let you come video ducks for a few days. And I remember running in there and telling my parents, just like, oh my gosh, like, I have done it. And it was just the best news ever. Called Angela, told her all about it. And anyway, that was 18 years ago.
That's crazy.
So here we are.
So you came here to do the shadowing, and then like did that? Like, how did you? Like, when you moved here, were you working full time, or were you still kind of shadowing?
No. So the funny story about that. So I came and did the shadowing, and then that was during that that duck season of my junior year. I just got back from Australia, and so we studied abroad. Different story, but we had studied abroad. So I come back from Australia, did the job shadowing, and so at the end of that year, I had told Willie, I was like, hey, I'm getting married this summer. And he was like, I tell you what, why don't you, I had called him. I'm sorry. I called him because we didn't have any little kid friends in our wedding. And so like, we didn't know any little kids or anything. And so Bobby, little Will, and Bella and Sadie and John Luke were all in our wedding.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So they were like the ring bearers and the flower girls and all that stuff. So anyway, I was calling to ask them if they wanted to do that, and told them we were getting married, blah, blah, blah. And anyway, he said, hey, man, why don't you, it'd probably be good for y'all to, get away from Arkansas for a little bit, just for your first month or two of marriage, for y'all to grow together and learn together. Why don't you just come down here? I'll give you some of your work. I was like, oh, that'd be sweet. That'd be cool. And then we'll just go back to college after that. So my wife, Angela, she was a biology major, and she was going to go to dental hygiene school, and she had big dreams and whatnot. And so we got married, moved down here. At the end of the summer, it's kind of time for me to go back to school.
Mm-hmm.
And Willie had told me, he said, "Hey man, I'm fixing to start something new, something hadn't been done before. It's called Buck Commander. And I've got a few guys that I'm running with, some baseball players and whatnot." And he said, "We're fixing to start up this new company. We're going to do what my dad did with ducks. We're going to do it with deer. We're going to make entertaining deer hunting videos." And I was like, "Okay, cool. Like, just kind of, what are you getting at here?" And he was, "I need a camera guy." I was like, "Oh my goodness." We were at church actually, and him and Corey would tell me all this. And so, he said, "I want you to go think about it." He said, "Now listen, this job's here right now. I know you got to go back to school. This job's here right now. You can take it and stop going to school and you just work this job, and, I'll give it to you now. Or you can go back to school, finish school, but I can't guarantee this job's going to be here. I'm probably going to fill it." And I remember going home and me and Angela praying over it and talking about it. And she was just just pushed me like, "Hey, listen, I'm married to you. I'm here with you. I'm whatever you decide. Like, I'm in it. Don't worry about it." Again, 18 years ago, here we are now. So we ended up moving down here. Took the job, obviously.
So you didn't do your senior year?
I did not. I did not finish college. For those of you listening, I did not finish.
Was Angela still in college?
She was. She did not finish either.
I love it.
And so,
that is so awesome.
yeah, we wouldn't have it any other way. It's there's never been a time that I regretted any of it. Like, it's just been awesome.
Yeah.
So
no, I love that. Okay, so just because you briefly mentioned it in there when you said that we went home and prayed about it, were y'all like what was your faith background? Like, what was your faith upbringing? Like, when you were when all that stuff was happening, were you were you following Jesus, strongly, or was there kind of a pivotal moment where that kind of shifted, like when you first moved down here in y'all's marriage, when you were filming stuff?
Yeah, I would say for me, I thought I was following Jesus.
Yeah.
You ever been that way?
Yeah.
Where you thought you were following Jesus? So like you thought you were there.
My whole high school life.
And so it's kind of like I thought I was Phil Robertson Jr. I wasn't.
Yeah.
Like, I thought I was following Jesus. But I think that's also just being super young and not confident in yourself, not having faith. And so I'd had a awesome upbringing, great parents. We went to church. I mean, just my dad was a very good father in the home, great Christian, just a great example of a Christian and a father. And so is my mom. But yeah, at the time I would tell you like, "Oh yeah, I'm a Christian." Like, yeah. But I think as I learned about myself and about my wife and just growing in our Christianity, I realized like I'm not fully committed to Jesus like I should be. Mm-hmm. So I didn't realize that till probably 10 years later.
Yeah.
So
what's the just because it's such a cool story, and I know even just from like talking to Willie, just this, I think most of the time, I mean, obviously each place has its fair amount of, just foul play. I mean, maybe not foul play, but just fun stuff that people do at deer camp and stuff, Mm-hmm. But with Buck Commander, like there's such a spiritual, like thing about it,
Mm-hmm.
like baptisms and just Bible studies and all those things. And you have a super, super cool baptism story. Can you kind of share a little bit about that and how that was kind of prompted?
Yeah. So, I don't know. I was after, let's see, I think it was about 27, 28 years old. And so Duck Dynasty was at its peak. This is at the peak of Duck Dynasty. And, Willie went down.
Had y'all had Rhett yet at this point?
Yeah, we'd had Rhett. We had Rhett when we were 21, 22.
Okay.
So we were not quite had Slade yet, my second son. And so anyway, we'd gone down to Alla, Louisiana, south of here, about an hour. And Willie was going to preach the gospel to like 100 people down there that Mr. Bill Busbus had lined up all these people to come listen to Willie share the gospel of Jesus. And man, I was down there, and Willie was like, man, why don't you just come video this? Like, I think it could be kind of cool. Like, we could use it for something on the show. You know? And really didn't think anything more than that. And then just like, okay, it's just doing my job. Like, yeah, I'll go video that. That's cool. And so went down there and videoed, you know, Willie sharing the gospel with all these people. And then I can't remember how many it was, but they got a little lake right there behind their house. And I don't know, 30, 40 people all went down. Everybody went down in the water, but 30 or 40 people went down in the water, and Willie's just boom, boom, just dunking them, you know, baptizing one after another. And I'm just watching this, and I'm just like, holy cow, like, look at just how the Holy Spirit has just moved over all these people. And it just took to me. And all is about an hour drive from here. And we came home late that night. I was riding with Willie, and we were just riding in the car, and I was just sitting there thinking about, like, man, I really thought I was a Christian. I'm not, I mean, I'm watching like what Willie's doing. I am not doing anything like this. Like, I am not giving everything I got and sharing Jesus with everyone I know. And man, I just kind of expressed that to him, and he and I talked, and obviously shared the gospel with me in the truck. And by the time we get to West Monroe, Louisiana, we're going to Two Mama's Pool, and I'm getting baptized in there.
That is so awesome.
I don't know, midnight.
Yeah.
So
that is so awesome. Yeah, because I mean, it really is cool. You know, I mean, you see, I mean, just the amount of people that y'all have all gotten to preach the gospel to at Honey Camp. It's incredible. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a whole nother, you know, avenue for us that we do get to share the gospel with lots of young teenagers. And I think, without getting into all that, I think right now, more than ever, and especially have gone through that, now having a teenager, that is one of the most impressionable ages that you can have on kids and their faith and what they go through in life. And right there, I mean, you know it, you weren't there that long ago, but you know, that's a tough time in someone's life, is just being a teenager. Yeah. So, I'm so thankful for like the sportsman's camp and all that too, that we get to share that Camp Chioka. Yeah. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, this next question I want to ask you, what have you learned about God from behind a camera?
Oh my gosh. I guess what I've learned is that how he moves when you don't ask him to move.
That's cool.
And the things that he makes happen through faith, just amazing. Just amazing. There's things that in our deer camp, you know, and keep in mind, we do have a wild bunch of guys. Like we got a bunch of retired baseball players. That's the proper term, retired baseball players. And then some country music singers, and that lifestyle is a wild lifestyle. Yeah. And just over the years, just seeing how that's evolved into where discussions have gotten deeper and deeper and deeper, to where each one of these guys is not just my boss, but it's my brother. Mm-hmm. And so I can sit in the stand with Tombo or Luke or Willie or any of those, and we can have deep discussions about life. I can get advice. I can just seeing how God has moved through Buck Commander. Yeah. It's just been amazing.
Have you ever had an unexpected hospital visit? There's only a few things that are worse. And one thing is when it's unexpected and you are trying to find a way to pay for it. And that's where Samaritan Ministries comes in. When a medical need comes up, the last thing we want to worry about is how we're going to pay for it. So I have two questions for you. How are you paying for your family's health care? And how's it working out for you? If it's working out perfectly, then great. But if not, I have a biblical solution for you, Samaritan Ministries. So my wife and I have two kids, and oftentimes that means we are going to the doctor for things. We've even had emergency room visits in the past, and it stinks when it's unexpected, but it's even worse when, like I said, you are trying to find a way to pay for it. And sometimes we think we're in the clear, but when we get that bill, we realize we're not. So if you're listening to this and you're wondering what Samaritan Ministries is, Samaritan Ministries is a community of Christians paying one another's medical bills. It's not insurance, but it's assurance that you're part of a healthcare sharing community where members care for one another spiritually and financially when a medical need arises. So here are 3 reasons why it can be right for you and your family. 1, there are no networks which put you in control of your family's healthcare. You know what's best for them, so you choose the doctors and hospitals you go to and have a say in the treatments that they receive. 2, you're part of a Christian community. So when you have a medical need, fellow members send money directly to you to help you pay your medical bills. And you'll do the same for them, all while praying for one another and encouraging each other. And 3, you can join today. Start healthcare sharing with Samaritan Ministries the day you complete your membership application or choose a future month. It's up to you. So whether it's a broken bone, an unexpected diagnosis, or other medical emergencies, you'll find comfort knowing that you're connected to 80,000 Christian households across the nation who stand ready to care for one another spiritually and financially during a time that it's needed most. And it can be more affordable than what you're paying now. So go check it out at samaritanministries.org/Huff. That's samaritanministries.org/Huff. Go join today. That is awesome. Well, because even like, this is, it's all throughout Scripture. It's in the New Testament, but it's also in the Old Testament. Just kind of this reference of like, when people kind of get to the point of like worshiping creation and not like the Creator, and being, always being outdoors and being in these beautiful places where, you get to see the sunrise, you get to see, the sunset, and you get to see all these just beautiful things, and even just some of the deer that y'all have gotten to see. Like, it's just remarkable. Have you ever kind of like fallen into that of just maybe not worshiping creation, but just like kind of, maybe being so consumed with that you can kind of lose sight of God that maybe created that, if that makes sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I talk about it with our sportsman's camp kids, and so I'm a big turkey hunter. Like, I love turkey hunting, and you and I haven't got to do that together yet. But there's a different side of me, that you haven't experienced when it comes to turkeys. And
so you weren't a real duck hunter, but you would call yourself a real turkey hunter.
I would call myself a real turkey hunter now.
Okay.
I would.
You've made it. This is your
But there was a time that I thought I was a turkey hunter, and I wasn't.
Yeah.
So being able to recognize that now,
but you're there now.
I feel like I'm there.
You're there now.
I feel like I'm there.
Okay.
I'm learning something every day.
Yeah.
Every time I go out, I try to learn something. So I would consider myself a turkey hunter now.
Okay. All right. We'll continue.
So I would say just early on when I got into turkey hunting and whatnot, and honestly, social media and video and our hunts, like those type of things, you create pressure to perform, right?
Yeah.
And so if the creation is not, obliging, you to get the job done, it can get kind of frustrating. And so I went through about a year, 2-year time period there that I kind of had a chip on my shoulder, and I thought I was really, really good at what I did. And and when things didn't work out, I would let it affect my attitude and how I treated people. And really, like you said, just I would lose sight of what I was there for instead of watching the sunrise and praising God for another day and the ability to be even out there.
Yeah.
I'm going, turkeys aren't gobbling.
Yeah.
Like I'm aggravated. I'm not even appreciating what I'm surrounded with. I'm just, turkeys aren't gobbling. And that's not a way to be. And it took it took a incident for me to realize that. I had a day that walking back to my truck, and I had a loaded shotgun with a strap over my shoulder, and I get to the truck and I go to swing the shotgun off of my shoulder to load it. I'm by myself. Swing the shotgun off my shoulder. It hangs up on my vest. I didn't realize this. And I go to unload. And when it swings over, my shotgun gets hung by the vest. And the trigger and say everything happened at the same time. Shotgun goes off, shoots my truck, and about 6 inches from my foot, a hole the size of a baseball.
Whoa.
And the blast, everything just scared the living crud out of me. And I'm just feeling around, making sure that, I'm not bleeding or anything like that. And my ears are ringing, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. So I kind of get everything together, and I noticed the hole in my truck, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, like God was watching out for me today. Like, and coincidentally, it was like 3 days left of turkey season, I think, here in Louisiana. And I remember getting in the truck, and for some reason, I don't know what voice it was, but there was a voice in my head that said, "You're done." I was like, "I'm done. Yeah, I'm done. I'm done." And I got home and kind of broke down with my wife and told her everything. And golly, I was just like, it was so scary.
Yeah.
But it was a wake-up call.
Yeah.
It was a wake-up call because I immediately realized that I am not here for that. Like, what I thought was the end result of getting that turkey over your shoulder and getting back to the truck and being able to have a video of it or post it on social media, like, that's not what we're here for.
Yeah.
That's not what we're here for.
Because even like you said, it really is so easy. Because I feel like this season I've been deer hunting a lot more than usual. Because usually we'll go on our son-in-law's son trip, and it'll be that might be for like a week or whatever. But I've been going out lately, and I can it's so easy to get into that of like. It's like this morning. It was like 38 degrees. It was a beautiful sunrise. It was like windy, but not too windy. It's like perfect. And I was like, like some deer winded us over here, and I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. Like I left Honey and Haven and Sadie in bed this morning, and then they're both screaming. I'm coming out here. We're getting winded. And then it was like, it's so easy to fall into that. And instead of just being like, it was like, at least I got to see something, so many people go out and like never see anything. We just saw 10 deer come out at the same time, so because it gets easy to be like that. It's like when it's not cooperating the way that you think it should be, it's just an expectation rather than, just being grateful that you're able to even be out there and able to do it, and just being appreciative, of the beauty of it. Cause it really is beautiful. It's incredible. Well, I want to ask you this question because, one, we talked about, cameras and really just your job, which is, it's incredible. And it's really cool because I think you, and really just all you guys really, but I think you specifically, like just this heart of like serving, like, I think about the verse, like, the first will be last, the last will be first. And because I do want to hear kind of your perspective on this, and I could be completely wrong, but how do you feel like, you have the heart to like serve, but you also, like you're videoing people do something that you love to do too. Like, right. Like you love to hunt too, but yet you're, oftentimes, videoing someone else do it. How do you, like, have you ever kind of wrestled with that maybe early on? I know that, like you said, you're 18 years into it now. How do you feel like maybe that's adapted over the years of like maybe even early on where if you're videoing them duck hunting, but yet you thought you were a real duck hunter, so you want to be duck hunting with them? How have you kind of wrestled? Maybe it hasn't even been a wrestle for you. How have you kind of walked through that over the last just couple teen years?
Yeah, I would say early on, I probably struggled with that a lot more, just being, especially coming from Arkansas as a kid who really didn't hunt ever, and then hanging out with these people who are super famous and get to go hunt really cool places that they own and work hard. All these guys that I work for, a lot of people don't realize that they just don't get free land and free opportunities like that. They all worked for it. So, being able to watch them at first, and video those things, it was cool, but deep down, I'd say, yeah, give me that bow. Let's trade for a minute. And there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Like I'm not faulting any, and especially if you're thinking about being a camera guy, that's obviously going to be something that that you want to do. Like the camera guys want to get in on it too.
Yeah.
And, you know, I would say early on, I probably struggled with that a lot more than I do today. And not that I don't today, it's still a little bit of a struggle, but not near what it used to be. So the way I ended up overcoming that, and really, I just realized that one day, I can't remember, I'm not bragging. I'd gotten a really cool shot. It was one of our guys. He had got this deer, and I had filmed over the shoulder, and he had both hands raised up in the air, and you see the deer running off like after he's made it. Just a great shot. It was great footage. Like still to this day, in my opinion, like one of the coolest shots I've ever filmed. And anyway, I remember bringing it back to camp, and everybody's high-fiving me. Like man, you nailed that. Like, good job, good job, good job. Like, I'm getting as much praise as the dude who killed the deer.
Yeah.
And not that that's what I was looking for, but that particular day, I was like, man, this is what this is about. Like, not that, oh, Jordan, you did a great job. What it is that I realized that I'm not there to shoot the deer. I'm not there to be the guy holding the trophy at the end of the photo. I'm not that guy. I'm the guy who created the memory that can go on forever. So what you would go and let's say you went and hunted this morning, you had a great hunt, you were by yourself, you're going to have nothing but memory of that for the rest of your life, just a memory. What I take pride in is that my job is to capture that on camera.
That's cool.
That not only do you have it as a memory, but you can physically see it forever.
Yeah.
And so I take a lot of, I'm really proud of that, you know, as far as that's our job as cameramen, being able to do something like that. And that, man, just being happy for someone else who's worked really hard to get to this point in life where they can enjoy things, and knowing too that, you know, good things come to those who wait and work hard. And you know what? If my goal in life is to shoot 150-inch deer, like, I would say I got my priorities wrong.
Yeah.
You know, Willie Robertson, his goal is not to shoot the biggest buck out of everybody in Buck Commander every year. It's how many people can he bring to Jesus.
Yeah.
Like, that's the goal.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just everybody, like, if you struggle with that, you probably just got your priorities wrong.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and it takes something to realize that sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's really like, it's so many things, right? I mean, it's really, I mean, you can take anything. You can take any sport, any hobby, like surfing. Like I would say most of, like, these professional surfers, like most people that probably video them really well love to surf. Mm-hmm. Like, same with working out, like fitness people. Like if you're videoing someone who's doing a hard CrossFit workout or whatever, I would imagine the person that's filming that likes to work out. Like, same with hunting. The person that's filming somebody hunting probably likes to hunt. So there's, you know, like, and even aside from the video aspect, like there's those things in all of us that, you know, not the idea of like living vicariously through it, but like, yeah, there's just there can be deep rootedness in us of like, yeah, like, I wish that was me. Like, I wish that was me, you know, shooting the 200-inch deer or whatever. I wish that was me catching that wave and whatever. Like, there's so many things in life that we can look at like that. But that's really cool to hear you say, like, this, the memory aspect. I never really, I have thought about it like that, just because every time, you know, I do get to go shoot something and get to see something, I watch the video playback 100 times because I think it's awesome. Like, I think it's the coolest thing just to get to relive it. But no, that's awesome. That's such a cool, like, mindset shift that happened to you that day. That's awesome.
See, if I'd been around, like, for all these stories that you hear from Si, we'd actually be able to validate some of them.
You'd be able to validate some of them?
I'd be able to validate some of them, but unfortunately, they're just stories.
Yeah.
So that's where I come into play for this now. So,
do you think the Black Panther story is true?
No. And again, I don't know that we have a long enough podcast for this, but I've seen some things out there too. And every camera guy that Phil will talk about says, all these weird camera guys, they always see weird stuff. I saw a black bear close to Phil's place one time. Nobody believed me.
Yeah.
Like, on the way to Phil, saw a black bear stand up, 6 foot tall, 30 feet out of my truck, and I was like, oh, that's a blackberry. And we weren't maybe 2 miles from Phil's house, and called him. Phil, I just saw a blackberry, and this was a long time ago. He said, no, we don't know blackberries around here, Frodo. That's what he called me. And I was like, man, I know I saw a blackberry. Yeah, I got it for weeks. For weeks, I got blackberry until the day that Phil called me. Him and one of his hands out there ran across a blackberry track on the land, and they said, you were right. So
that's so funny. I just don't know how you would make that up. That's hilarious. How would you just randomly make that up? Okay, well, I want to end with this. Y'all been married for how many years have you been married?
Going on, is on camera. I'd say 18.
18.
Going on 18.
Okay, yeah, 18. And y'all been, you just said he just turned 15.
He did.
Okay, cool. What advice would you give to young? Because I know we have a lot of young dads listen to this podcast, and a lot of people that want to be parents in the future. What advice would you give to young dads out there listening, or young dads that future young dads?
Somebody told me that the most moldable, impressionable age is 0 to like 3 years old or 5 years old, maybe. I would say that's right. Like, you're setting up kids for life at that your kid's age. Like, you were setting them up for life. The other thing I would tell you is get off your phone, get up, and soak up every minute you can with them, because it goes by so quick.
Yeah.
So quick.
Yeah. I've already seen that. I got on to Honey the other night, and she was not wanting to sleep. And I was like, it was so late, and I was like, I was just getting so mad, and I was like, honey, you gotta go to sleep. And then it was she said, don't be mean to me again. And it was like, I felt it was one of the worst. I just felt so bad. But yeah, I mean, it is, because it's so easy just to get distracted with that. I mean, it's so easy to come home and just. Yeah, I mean, obviously you want to play with your kids and you want to converse and all those things, but it's easy to, we're tired. We've had a long day. You want to just
absolutely,
you want to kind of
and
just watch TV or check out or whatever. Yeah,
where I'll get back from a long trip and I just need to relax in my chair for just give me like a 3-hour nap or or whatever it is, and it's just that those moments go by. I mean, my son just turned 15. I can literally remember the day he was born like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
And it's just flown by so fast.
That's crazy.
And so, I hope I've been a good example to him.
Yeah.
I think too, like there's a reason God didn't give me girls, because if I had girls, especially as cute as yours, like they wouldn't be seeing the light of day. Like I got 2 boys, and it's been all I can handle, and they're great kids. I'm so proud of them, and it's probably their mama that has been the reason they're as awesome as they are. But, for you and Sadie, for anybody out there, if you're young parents, team up, show each other love in front of your children. Like, I think that's super important too, is you show them love, whether it's hugging, kissing, whatever it is, you show them love in front of your kids so that they understand that and they see that. And both my boys are still big huggers. Like, awesome. They come up, my son gives me a hug. My 15-year-old son gives me a hug every night. Big old hug. Like, he'll come, he's bigger than me now, which doesn't take much, but he's bigger than me now, and he'll come bear hug me and pick me up. That means the world to me.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Anyway,
that's awesome. I love
soak
it.
Up everything
put
you
your
can,
phone
man.
down. So if you're listening to this, put your phone down, soak up every moment, and just go be present with your family.
That's right.
Jordan, thank you so much for joining me, man.
Thank you, buddy.
Yep.